Alhamdulillah for the opportunity to stand before you today. Alhamdulillah for our health, the health of our families, the health of our children, the health of our loved ones. Alhamdulillah that we had the opportunity to reap the benefits of Ramadan this year. And Alhamdulillah for the fact that all of us here can identify ourselves as Muslims who believe in the oneness of Allah and the message of His Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. A year ago, last year, we were here in this same hotel, and we discussed, it was my first time giving the speech, and we discussed Salah and the importance of prayer and how the prayer is the foundation of our deen, and if it's weak, then our foundation is weak, and how if it's strong, then our entire foundation is strong. In this year, I want to talk about 3 brief topics, and then we can go enjoy our Eid, inshallah. The first topic is the importance of keeping up the momentum after Ramadan. Like in Ramadan, usually we do our best, so we'll talk a little bit about how we can keep going. Second is being thankful and saying Alhamdulillah, and how we should remember Allah through dhikr, which is the remembrance of Allah constantly. And the third is unity, and how our ummah should support one another and wish khair upon each other. So part 1, which I wasn't supposed to read that. Subhanallah, Ramadan just finished. And again, just like every year, it went by like this. And I remember in the beginning of Ramadan, I was one of the people who was, thinking, oh man, iftar is at, 8:45, that's gonna suck, like, and I found comfort knowing 2 things. Number 1, first of all, from the beginning of time till now, Ramadan always goes by faster than any other month. And number 2 is that there's so much barakah in the month that you don't even feel it, honestly. If you're doing what you're supposed to do during that month, it's too good to be true. So Ramadan gives us an opportunity to show off, honestly. And it's usually, by human nature, we have to struggle with trying to maintain ourselves and contain ourselves from showing off. But in Ramadan, we have the opportunity to show off in front of Allah and show Him, I'm going to go to the masjid, I'm going to pray on time, I'm going to do this and that, and give sadaqah a little bit more, or be nicer, or, and it's incredible because as long as you know that showing off is strictly based in Ramadan, then I think we're all going to be on the right path. But also you should remember that what you do for the sake of Allah. And no matter what anybody says about you, or no matter if they say, oh, well, he only goes to pray during Ramadan, great. That's all that you need to do, because in reality, the month is given for you to show off. And I decided, I remember early in Ramadan, one of my friends had a status that was on Facebook. I remember I was on Facebook, and his status said, it was on day 1. Literally, and I'm quoting it, it says, first day of Ramadan, I'm starving, this sucks. And I remember thinking to myself, wow, first of all, I'm hungry too, but, what is that person like missing the point of Ramadan, or with respect and very kindly, like, or how would that look to the non-Muslims if they saw that our holiest month was one that we said sucked, and being hungry sucks. So I decided to send them a message in their inbox, and very nicely I just said, hey, call me, and they called me, and I said, how's it going? How's your day going? Hopefully everything is going well. And then I brought up, I was like, man, I'm hungry, and he's like, yeah, me too, And I told him, by any chance, did you wake up for suhoor last night? And he said, no. So I said, okay, well listen, how about I call you tomorrow and I'll wake you up for suhoor. And we'll see if that helps you with the hunger. And he said, okay, that's fine, because I don't wake up on my own. And he's like, all right, that's fine, call me. I called him for suhoor that night, and that was the only time that I called him for suhoor. He woke up, not from my phone call, but from the voicemail. Hey, wake up, I'm calling you for suhoor. And at the end, and to make a long story short, the last post that he posted, and this is a quote from Ramadan yesterday, sucks that this month is leaving so fast. From one brief thing to that in 30 days. And it wasn't about my post or anything. I think they saw how everybody else gets into this mode during Ramadan, and they fed off of it. Because you become the outcast not by doing what others do, but by not being the one doing what others do. And if you're an outcast of stuff that's good, that's bad. So inshallah, Allah will reward us with Ramadan again. And remember the importance of Ramadan, that the Sahaba radiallahu anhum used to pray for Ramadan 6 months in advance, and used to be sad about Ramadan leaving for 6 months afterwards, and would reflect upon it. So imagine how we would be like, oh man, I can't wait to go eat and have coffee that day. Like, that's great, but we also have to remember the message in that, and that is that Ramadan is a barakah, and it's very important, and it's a gift. Number 2 is saying Alhamdulillah and being thankful. Saying Alhamdulillah is the only way that we can truly get as close as we can to saying thank you to Allah. As opposed to just saying how we normally say it in life to humans and things. And this Ramadan, one of the things that was recurring amongst my friends and my family was that we were looking for guidance during Ramadan. And guidance to help us make decisions and see what's good for us and make them come easily. And subhanAllah, I feel like I sent out the instructions for istikhara prayer 10 times this Ramadan. People are just like, dude, I don't know what to do. How do I ask Allah for what I want? And that's great, the fact that you're going to Allah for guidance and that you want to do about it the right way. And not going to people, but going to your Lord to ask Him what to do. Help me. And that's the right way to do it. And we need to remember that when we also want guidance, we also remember that we have to remember Allah. And we have to izkar. And we have to say things like Alhamdulillah wa astaghfirullah and Subhanallah. Because Allah in the Quran says, فَاذْكُرُونِي أَذْكُرُكُمْ وَاشْكُرُوا لِي وَلَا تَكْفُرُونَ, which means, remember me and I will remember you. And do not deny me and be grateful to me. So we must remember that in addition to that, we also have to send our prayers amongst the Prophet ﷺ. Because the Prophet ﷺ said, من صلى علي وحده صلى الله عليه 10 صلوات وحط عنه 10 خطايات ورفع له 10 درجات. And that means whoever sends one prayer upon me, Prophet, Allah will send 10 upon him, remove 10 hardships from him, and raise him 10 levels. And if you know anything about dealing with people in life, the most you can get from a person is 100% of what you put in a friendship, in a relationship, in a marriage, and whatever. But with Allah, you get minimum of 10 times what you put in. And if that's not an investment worthwhile, then I don't know what is. But the fact that you say Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad one time, you get 30 salahs for that, 30 ajr for that, it's incredible. And then remember that no matter what our problems are or what stresses we have, that at the end of the day, it's not our call. We're up to the will of Allah, and we have to remember that He's the one that's going to guide us. Because Allah in the Quran says, وَلَعَلَّكُمْ تَكْرَهُونَ شَيْءٌ وَهُوَ خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ and وَلَعَلَّكُمْ تَحِبُّونَ شَيْءٌ وَهُوَ شَرٌ لَكُمْ. Excuse me. So, which means that, perhaps that you'll hate something and it is good for you. And perhaps that you will love something and it is bad for you. And Allah knows and you know not. So it just humbles you at the end of the ayah to tell you, look, you look for the guidance of Allah, and at the end of the day, it's not you that knows. I know, Part 3, unity and wanting khair for each other. This happens in 2 parts. The first one is that you have to remember, in our deen, the central part, which is very similar to the religions of Christianity and Judaism, is that you have to wish for your brother what you wish for yourself. And in our deen, it even gets taken to a greater extent. The Prophet ﷺ says, لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى يشاء لأخيه ما يتمنى لنفسه. So you have to want for your brother what you want for yourself. And لا يؤمن means you do not become a believer until you do that. None of you truly believes until you do that. So no matter how much salah you do, and no matter how much good deeds and dhikr and zakah and all these things that you do, if you are one of those people that looks at somebody else when they're going through a hardship, or looks at someone else when they're doing things that are wrong and says, oh man, he deserved what he got, then you're never going to reach the level of that central part of our belief, which is that you need to love khair for others. Because if other people are doing well in our ummah and in our group, then we'll do well. Because the group is only as good as its members. Second thing is that we have to always remember to be mindful of working up and covering up our sins and the sins of our brothers and sisters. And in a hadith here, this is a beautiful hadith. It says, the Messenger of Allah ﷺ said, a Muslim is a brother of another Muslim. He neither wrongs him nor does hand him over to one who does him wrong. If anyone fulfills his brother's needs, Allah will fulfill his needs. And if one relieves another Muslim, Allah will relieve his troubles on the day of resurrection. And if anyone covers up a Muslim's sins, then Allah will cover up his sins on the day of resurrection. So may we all work to become those who cover up the sins of our brothers and leave the judgment to the judge of all judges, which is Ahkam al-Hakimin, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The bottom line in all of this is that we can't be the people who purposely avoid one another at gatherings. We can't be the type of people that think that the strong amongst us is the one that doesn't say hi, or walks away when he thinks he's right, or doesn't say salam after salah, or doesn't get up and hug the person next to them after this khutbah, for example. Because after all, what are we here for? We're not here to show off our suits. We're not here to show off our dresses. We're here to see each other. And this is our Eid. And the bottom line is that at the end of the day, remember, when you have problems with people or when you don't, that the merciful will be treated by mercy by the most merciful. So be merciful to those who are on this earth, and he who is above the heavens will be merciful to you. So, Ar-Rahimun yarhamuhum ar-Rahman, irhamu man fil ard, yarhamukum man fil sama. So, إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. Verily Allah and His angels sends prayers and blessings upon the Prophet of Allah. So, O you who believe, please send your blessings and prayers upon the Prophet. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم عافنا في من عافيت وتولنا في من توليت وارحمنا واصرف عنا شر ما قضيت. اللهم تقبل منا صيامنا وصلاتنا ودعاءنا وتوبتنا واهدنا الصراط المستقيم. اللهم ارحم امواتنا واموات المسلمين. اللهم اشف مرضانا ومرضى المسلمين. عباد الله, make sure that you guys do your sins and pray for Allah and ask your dua, because Allah does not deny the person who puts his hands up in the air and requests something from him. He's too generous. So make your dua and tawakkalu ala Allah, and always remember that this is Eid and this is a happy time. So,